shed this form, embrace the sky. Dohkongsi, teach us to fly.
When I look at you, the whole world stops. It's like magic. I love you, my dearest.
Among the Garos in Garo Hills, there lived in the olden days a very wealthy man at a village, the site of which was somewhere on the bank of the Singwil stream by the northwest of Rangira Hill. This man dwelt there with his wife, mother-in-law, and 4 daughters. His eldest girl was named Awil, the second eldest, Singwil, and the 2 younger ones Nose and Dimse. The first 2 girls were both beautiful and accomplished. The younger ones were infants. Now, the man's mother-in-law was a cruel old woman who had little love for her 2 granddaughters. She hated Awil and Singwil especially because of their beauty, for she herself was as ugly as any old age could be. So, she used to get the 2 girls into difficulty whenever she could. For example, she used to secretly mix husk and charcoal with the rice which Awil and Singwil husked. Again, she would put hair or rat dung into the rice which they had cooked, or sand into the water which they had drawn for drinking. In this way, she managed to get her granddaughters punished by their parents on many occasions. One day, the mother of Awil and Singwil took down some paddy from the granary and told the girls to thresh it with their feet, dry it in the sun and pound it. Then she and her husband went to work in their jum fields. Awil and Singwil diligently threshed the paddy with their feet, and later spread it out in the open courtyard to dry. She also ordered them to fetch water from the river and to cook rice for the family's evening meal. The day was quite hot, so the 2 younger girls, Nose and Dimse, cried to be taken down to the river for a bath. Awil and Singwil requested their aged grandmother to look after the paddy while they were gone. There was a fine stretch of sandy beach at the riverside and many fish in the river itself. In the meantime, the cruel old woman concealed the paddy, which was spread out in the courtyard to dry. When Awil and Singwil returned with their beauty sisters, they asked concernedly, "Grandma, where is the paddy which we left with you?" She replied, "The paddy was eaten up by a pig with wild sides and a capon." The girls were afraid that their mother would punish them, so they took down some more paddy from the granary and began to pound it raw. While they were engaged in this hurried task, their parents returned from the fields. The mother asked, "What? Haven't you finished pounding the paddy yet?" Then the cruel grandmother spoke up and said that the negligent girls had allowed a pig and capon to eat up the paddy which was given, and that the 2 mischievous sisters took down more paddy from the granary in order to deceive their mother. At this, the angry mother beat the girls so unmercifully that they both fainted. On another day, after the father had gone to a market, the old woman falsely accused Awil and Singwil of further wrongdoing. Again, their mother beat them very severely, and afterwards confined them in a pigsty for the rest of the night. The next morning, she went to the jum fields without freeing her daughters or giving them food and drink. A little later, some children came near the pigsty to play jeeler seeds. During the game, a jeeler seed accidentally rolled into the pigsty. When one of the youngsters came to fetch it, Awil said to him, "If you will open the door of the pigsty, I will give you your jeeler seed." The boy readily agreed. So the 2 sisters were set free. Then Awil said, "Sister, go to the fowl house and collect some feather." She carefully preserved the feathers. When the abused sisters finished their meal, Awil said to Singwil, "Why should we continue to remain here where we receive nothing but beatings and abuses? Let us stick these feathers to our bodies with wax, turn ourselves into doves and fly away from this wretched place." Singwil agreed. So they stuck the feathers to their bodies with wax, with the help of Dokongsi, a water magpie, turned themselves into doves through occult means and by sheer force of their extraordinary willpower, and flew from roof to roof. At length they flew to the jump field where their mother was working, perched themselves on a tree and cooed. Gurkururu gurkururu. With a piece of thorny firewood. Were we beaten by you, mother? Gurkururu gurkururu. Awil and Singwil, we sisters too. Nose dim say, younger ones. We had not cooked rice with husk and rat dung for you, mother. Gurkururu gurkururu. We had not drawn water with sand for father. Gurkururu gurkururu. For nothing we were made to wonder. When the mother heard this strain, she was very much frightened, for she had never heard any bird sing with human voice like these two. So she hastened back to look for her daughters in the pigsty, but could not find them anywhere. The father of the two girls was just returning from the market. As he approached his village proper, the two doves perched on a banyan tree and together cooed, Gukuru-roo, Gukuru-roo. Father has gone to the market. He brings some capon white. Gukuru-roo-roo. The father heard their voices and was much troubled in mind. He hurried home and found his wife and two younger daughters weeping for the missing Awil and Singwil. He too began to weep. In the midst of their tears, the two doves flew towards the house and perched on the roof. The mother took out all her valuables and spread them on the open courtyard. She said to the doves, "I take all these valuable necklaces and cloth. Leave your dove shapes and become human beings once more. You have been frequently beaten on account of your grandmother's wickedness. That is all ended now. We have found her out. You will be beaten no more. Come to your home again, my dear children." The tears and entreaties of the parents were in vain. The doves would not return to their former shapes. Instead they said, "If you really love us, hang up 2 necklaces on a bamboo pole." The parents did so immediately. Then the 2 doves swooped down, picked them up and flew away. A few days after these events, 2 brothers, named Awil and Gunal, were clearing jungle in their jum fields. The 2 doves perched on a tree close to them and cooed, Gukuru-roo-roo. We Awil Singwil sisters too. You Awil Gunal brothers too. Gukuru-roo-roo. Gunal, the younger brother, heard this clearly and said to Awil, "Listen, brother, the 2 doves are singing like human beings." The elder brother did not believe this. He got angry with Gunal and beat him with the handle of his dhow. After a little while the 2 doves cooed again in the same strain, and this time Awil did hear it. He begged his brother's pardon and was forgiven. Awil and Gunal set traps to catch the 2 doves. Awil was caught in the trap of the elder brother, while Singwil was caught in the trap of the younger brother. Awil killed his dove, cooked it and ate it up. Gunal, however, took his dove and put it in a cage. He took good care of it, giving it rice and water every morning before going out into the fields to work. One day, shortly after he and his brother left the house, the dove flew out of the cage and turned herself into a beautiful girl. She cleaned the house, swept the floor, drew water, cooked rice, and then returned to her former shape and entered the cage. Then Awil and Gunal got back from work. They were surprised to find the house in such good order and their evening meal waiting for them. They were at a loss to explain the phenomenon, but they were too tired to discuss the matter. The next day the dove did the household chores as before. When the brothers discovered everything in readiness a second time, they grew afraid. They feared that it was the work of a ghost or spirit. Awil decided to find out the cause of the strange happenings. Accordingly, he rolled himself up in a mat, stuffed the top with cloth, bored 2 holes for his eyes, and waited to see what would occur. But after a short while he fell asleep. As he slept, the dove came out of the cage, transformed herself into a charming young girl and performed the customary household tasks. On the following morning, Gunal decided that he would try to solve the mystery. He too rolled himself up in the mat, but he took the additional precaution of cutting his finger and rubbing it with salt in order to keep awake. While she was sweeping the floor, Gunal swiftly leaped out of his hiding place, seized her by the wrist, and asked her name. The pretty girl struggled to free herself and said, "And my name is Singwil. Set me free. If you don't let me go, it will not be well with you." Gunal would not listen to her entreaty. Instead, he ardently asked her to marry him. The girl answered, "If you wish, I will marry. However, "You must not reproach me if harm should come to you after our marriage." Gunal replied lovingly, "I will never reproach you, darling. Let us henceforward live together as husband and wife. Earnestly entreat you never again to turn into a dove." The girl agreed, and they were consequently married. Now Singwil was exquisitely beautiful. So Anil grew very jealous of his brother and wanted to kill him so that he could marry the girl himself. Therefore, one day he asked Gunal to come with him to catch fish and crabs. Gunal's faithful dog, Irijar Gungajar, followed them. During their labours, Anil went a little further up the stream and dug a hole in the sand wide enough for a man to lie in. He then called Gunal and said to him, brother, here are some crabs and fish. I am tired. Come and dig a bit more so that we can catch them." Gunal did as he was told. While he was in the hole, Anil leaped up, burying big stones into the opening, and covered his brother with them. Then he returned home. There Singwil asked him about her husband. He said, "I tried to bring Gunal back, but he said that he wished to go away. He asked me to tell you not to weary about him, but that you may take another husband, if you wish." By this time, Irijar Gungajar, Gunal's dog who had witnessed the murderous act, came wailing to Singwil and told her all that had occurred. She said to the faithful animal, "Come, Irijar Gungajar, let us search for thy lord and master." Then taking an iron rod, a mat, a fan, and bunch of cocktail feathers, Singwil followed the dog to the spot where her husband was buried. Tenderly she took out the body, washed it lovingly, and farmed it slowly as she prayed to the supreme deity, saying, "O Tatara Rabugar, thou father of life, thou owner of breath, blow life into my beloved husband, give breath to my loved one, make him speak, sit, and stand." She struck the mat several times with the iron rod, and Gunal returned to life. Together they went home in great joy. Some months later, Anil took Gunal with him into the forest to search for birds' nests. Gunal's faithful dog again accompanied them. They came to a huge simul tree whose girth was 30 cubits. Anil told his brother that there was a bird's nest on the top of the tree and asked him to climb up and get it. Gunal obeyed. When he was on the top, Anil prayed to Tatara Rabugar, saying, "O Tatara Rabugar, that his life may end and his breath be cut off, raise the tree to the skies." All of a sudden the tree sprang up until it touched the sky. It was Anil's hope that his brother would fall from the top and be killed or die there from starvation. But Gunal's faithful dog, Irijar Gungajar, rushed back to his mistress and informed her of the misfortune which had befallen his master. Singwil followed the dog to the foot of the simul tree. The distraught wife could find no way of bringing her husband down to earth. For full 7 days and 7 nights she stayed at the spot, sobbing bitterly at Gunal's plight and her own helplessness. She prayed to the birds of the air, saying, "O ye strong-winged birds, soar high and bring back my husband to me. Ye eagles, ye vultures, ye kites, don't you see that the good man who loves you so much is stranded on the top of this tree? Bring him down, bring down my beloved to me." But the birds would not listen to her prayer. Finally Remmer Gongar Tojeng Abiljeng, the patriarchal head of the golden-backed woodpeckers, asked her, "What will you give me if I bring Gunal down to you?" Singwil answered quickly, "I will give you gongs, money, clothes, whatever I prize most. I will give even my own life, if you will bring him down to earth." Remmer Gongar answered, "I know that you are sorely afflicted because of your husband's plight. Therefore, I will not ask precious things of you. All I want is an axe and a puggree. Do that, and I will bring Gunal down." Singwil went and fetched the 2 simple gifts which the woodpecker asked. The bird then soared into the skies and brought Gunal down on its strong back. Singwil took her husband home and nursed him back to health.
Safe.
As for Remmer Gungar, he put his red puggree on his head and forever carried about the axe, which became a formidable weapon on his heads. His descendants are now known as the golden-backed, red-top woodpeckers. At a later date, Anil took Gunal again into the forest to secure some charcoal. Gunal's dog followed them as usual. The brothers dug a hole as deep as a man's height in the forest and filled it up with dried wood. Anil told Gunal to tend the fire. As he did so, Anil pushed him into the roaring fire, heaped logs of dried wood on him and went home. Gunal's dog rushed back to his mistress and told her of the fate of her husband. Singwil took an iron rod, a mat and a fan as before, went to the fire, pulled her husband out of the flames, and again besought Taptara Rabugar to restore him to life. Her prayer was heard a second time and Gunal was brought back to life once more.
I have patiently borne with brother's conduct 3 times. I cannot endure any more. Someday he may really kill me in cold blood.
So he decided to put an end to his brother's mischief-making. He killed some pigs and fowls at his house, brought out much rice beer, beat tom-toms, and made all the preparations required for a grand feast. Then he invited Anil to come to his house to drink and dine. But Anil refused to come, for he now feared Gunal very much. Again and again Gunal sent him an invitation, and as often Anil pretended that he was ill and could not come. Finally, the younger brother snatched up a long gourd ladle full of rice beer, went to Anil and forced it down his throat. In a few moments the wicked elder brother was dead. After that Gunal and Singwil lived happily. They were blessed with many good and beautiful sons and daughters, who in the course of time became brave warriors and mighty personages renowned in the history of the Garo tribe. And a clear stream, flowing on the northwest of the Rangira Hill in Garo Hills, remains named after Singwil up to this day.
Up so high, Kukurugi to gook with feather wakes and wings. Gook gook, the sky, it freely sings. Awil, Singwil, Kukurugi to gook upon the simul tree. Gook gook, you sent us up so high, Kukurugi to gook with feather wakes and wings. Gook gook.